Alright, hello everyone. I'm going to be showing you how to make a nice smooth transition between scenes in Unity, hopefully as quick as possible so I don't waste your time. I have set up two scenes here. In one of them there's a button that says go to scene 2, in scene 2 it says go to scene 1. Alright? Make sure that you have both of your scenes actually set up in your build settings. So you go to File, Build Settings, and then make sure that your scenes are in here. If they aren't, it's no big deal. Just go into your scene, load it, and then click Add Open Scenes, and then they'll add it into here. So to begin, what we're going to need is on each page, we're actually going to add a UI and a panel. All right. This panel, we're going to make it completely black, completely solid color, and make sure it's in the canvas. And then what we're also going to do is we're actually going to animate this. So you're going to go to Window, Animation, Animation, and then it'll pop open this window. All right, you're going to make sure you have panel selected. Click on Create. This will create an animator and an animator clip. Okay, so we're going to call this animator clip Fade to Black. All right. So now this is actually going to be the animation that the panel does as we're fading to black to change into the next scene. Also, just a note, you see that the panel wasn't actually created big enough, so I'm just going to make it just a bit bigger to make sure it covers the whole screen. And on here, we have to add a property. Okay? We're going to add the color property so we can actually change it in the animation. It starts off completely black and ends completely black. So what we're going to have to do is change the first keyframe from completely solid black to completely transparent. So you'll click on the area that you want to add a keyframe to. You'll change the color, make the alpha completely transparent, and then you'll click here for add a keyframe. And then now you can see the animation goes from fade from transparent to black. And then we're going to click on fade to black here, click create new clip, and we're going to make fade to clear. Nice. So now we're going to add the image property again, color. Make sure that you have panel selected this whole time, by the way. And then here, it's actually good that we start with black. So we're going to go from black to at the end. We want it to be transparent, so we'll delete that. And then make sure you have panel selected, click on the color, and go completely transparent. Right, and then we'll add the keyframe. So then we have one last animation to add, if you could call it that. We'll call it idle. And all this is going to be is you still want the color property. You're going to delete the last keyframe, and we're just going to have one frame, and it's just going to be a clear panel, right? Just like that. Make sure you add the keyframe so it saves, and you're good. Now, it's very important that you go in here into the image, and you click Raycast Target and turn that off. Because even when the panel is transparent, since it's in front of the button, it's actually going to prevent us from clicking it. All we're going to do now is copy and paste this panel into whatever other scene you're going to want to transition to or from. Put that in the canvas. Perfect. So I'm going to go back to my other scene. And here we're actually going to create a new game object. I'm going to call it scene management. Mint. Yeah, there you go. And we're going to make a new script called scene loading. All right. Wait for that to load. And when it finally does, double click. Oh. There you go. Okay. So first thing you need to do is add to the top using Unity. Oh god, not Nuity. Unity engine dot scene management. Perfect. And then we're going to add a function and a coroutine. So the function has to be public. It's going to be a void, and we're going to call it scene, or I'll call it load scene. Oh my god, lad. Load scene void. And we're going to pass a string to that called scene name. And then in here, we're going to start a coroutine called load scene, and we're going to pass in scene name. Down here, we'll actually make that coroutine. So an IEnumerator is what you write to create or to declare a coroutine, and we'll call it load scene. We'll get a string called scene name again, and then in here, the reason we're using a coroutine is so that you can actually add the delay. So we'll have a delay between when the animation starts and when we actually end and change scenes, right? So to start, we're also going to need a public animator. You could also make this private and just serialize it. I just make it public because it's easier. Called fade panel anim. All right, you can call it whatever you want. That's just what I want to call it. So we're going to get fade panel anim dot set bool exit to true. All right. And now this is going to be a parameter that we set in the animator right after making this. Okay. Actually, let's go there and do it now. It'll make more sense. So in here, we're going to open the animator tab. If it's not there, it's the same thing as the animation. You're going to click on the window, animation, animator. All right. So now, if we actually click on the panel animator that was made before, we'll see our 3 animations there. We're going to want fade to clear set as our default state, because once we load the screen, that's what we want to happen automatically. We'll have a transition from fade to clear to idle, and then from idle to fade to black. This transition, we're going to leave with has exit time with no conditions so that it happens automatically once the animation is done. And then fade to black, we're going to uncheck has exit time because we want it to happen as soon as we click the button. And then we'll add a parameter up here. It'll be a Boolean, and we'll call it exit. Now in the transition, we'll add that Boolean and make it so that it happens whenever it's true. Okay? So now back into Visual Studio. This will take care of setting the exit Boolean to true. And then we're going to write yield return new wait 4 seconds 1.5 f. Now this will wait, it'll pause our script for 1.5 seconds, or it'll pause the coroutine for 1.5 seconds. After that, we're just going to write scene manager, scene manager, there you go, dot load scene, scene name. Beautiful. So this will start the animation, wait 1.5 seconds, and then load whatever scene we specify. So now the last step is in Unity. We're going to need to grab the button, whatever button you want to change, it doesn't matter. Where it says on click down here, you're going to click plus, and then you're going to find your scene management object. We're going to drag and drop that in there. Click on the no function, scene loading, load scene void. And then in this little box here, you're going to write the exact string of whatever the name of the other scene you want to load is. So for me, it's scene 2, no spaces after, no spaces before, and then that's all set. Last thing we need to do is make scene management a prefab so we can actually bring it into the other scene. And we're also going to need to drag and drop the panel animator onto the scene management right there. Now go ahead and open your second scene. We're going to bring the scene management into there. We'll click on the panel, make sure that we unchecked raycast target. Perfect. Do the same thing with the button that we did before. Click plus, drag in the scene management, scene loading, load scene void, and then here we're going to have scene 1. Perfect. And that should be it. So now, if we go back to scene 1 and we click start, we see it fades in. Click on the button, fades to black, and there we have a little bit of an issue. So what I forgot to tell you was that these, by default, are looped. So you're going to double click on the animation in the animator and uncheck loop time for any of them that are looped. Yeah, perfect. There you go. So now, you're going to press play. It'll fade in, press the button, fade out, fade back in. Perfect. And then we'll go back to the other one. Oh, and I forgot to put the animator in here. No, I didn't. Oh no, it's the other scene. Sorry. See? Mistakes everywhere. Alright, so now it should work going back and forth, no problem. Fade to scene 2. Fade to scene 1. There, seamless. Alright, and the last tip I'm going to leave you with is just on your canvas, it's often best to change this constant pixel size to scale with screen size, just so you don't get too many issues with the size of your canvas and everything. Alright, so I hope that this video helped. If there are actually people watching it and you guys have questions, make sure you leave them down below, and I promise to answer every single one. If there are any questions, feel free to leave a like if it helped you out. And yeah, I hope I helped some people out. Cheers, y'all.